Hey everyone, Craig Warwick here with a review of the Marvel Legends GREY GARGOYLE figure. This figure is part of the Kree Sentry Build-A-Figure series, but I don't think I'm going to be getting any of these movie figures on the left. My collection is mostly comic based, so I'll be sticking to these dudes on the right who have actual photos of the figures and not cop-out Hollywood mugshots. So let's skip right to number 5 and take a look at this guy. The Grey Gargoyle first appeared in Journey into Mystery, issue 107, when French scientist Paul-Pierre Duval spilled an unknown chemical compound on himself and gave himself the world's worst version of the Midas touch. Duval found he could transform anything he touched to stone, for 1 hour at a time. Initially content to use his powers to steal stuff, Duval decided it would be much more fulfilling to be a supervillain. So he put on a ludicrous costume and began making himself rock hard by touching himself all over. Sacre bleu! Et voila, he became the Grey Gargoyle. Duval's body was as durable as granite, with no loss of mobility, unlike his victims. He was super strong. He had limited flight because his stone cape acted like wings? I don't get that bit. And he could scale buildings thanks to his now claw-like fingers and toes. The Grey Gargoyle set about threatening various heroes with his rock cooties over the years, even developing the ability to permanently turn people to stone, which, despite how goofy this guy appears, is, I think, a genuinely terrifying superpower. This figure of the Grey Gargoyle looks good out of the package. Rather than being plain grey with paint flecked onto him, he's actually cast in a grey plastic that has black and white flecks mixed into it. It's an interesting way to suggest his stone body. The effect is decent enough, but it's nowhere near as detailed as The Thing, where the rocky texture was realised by the sculpt as well as the colour. Still, we can't expect Paul Duval to get as much attention as Ben Grimm, can we? That's not to say that the Grey Gargoyle doesn't receive some uniquely sculpted parts, and I'll get to those in a moment. We've seen the main parts of this figure before, with the body having been used for Craven, among others. The gloves are realised with blue paint and black painted lining, and the hand sculpts appear to be new and different from the clawed hands we saw on Venom, Jackal or Morbius previously. His right hand is an open fist, while his left hand is in a reaching gesture, perfect for harassing superheroes with his petrifying touch. The feet also have claws, and I think again are new sculpts, different from the clawed feet we saw on Jackal, certainly. It would have been nice to get a little patch of exposed grey in the palm of his hand, like in the comics, but hey, c'est la vie. Gargoyle's head is a completely new sculpt. I was fully expecting them to reuse a Craven head sculpt, but no, the Domino mask is fully sculpted, as is the pencil moustache. His expression is particularly suited to the character. Again though, I feel like it could have had a more rocky texture, but then that would have just highlighted the lack of that texture on the body. So it's a good balance Hasbro has hit here. There's a little touch of paint here on his mask, hair, grin and moustache to bring out those details. His other unique part is his cape. The cape actually has some stone-like texture in it with cracks sculpted into it. A little dark wash of paint would have made these much more visible, but it's still nice the attention to detail is there. The cape, like the body, is cast in grey with black and white paint flecks in the plastic, and it's very thin and flexible, which on one hand is great, but on the other, using such a thin, light grey plastic means there's an element of transparency to the cape, which doesn't really suit the idea that it's made of stone. It looks like the cape is removable with some effort, but as it loops under his arms, I'd warn against it in case it snaps the soft plastic. His last little accessory is his belt, which is a plain loop of soft plastic that floats on his waist so it doesn't block his articulation. And speaking of which, let's take a look at how he moves. His head rotates, he looks down this much, and up this much. His arms rotate, and move up this far. There's rotation at the top of the bicep. He has double jointed elbows that bend this far. There's rotation at the wrist, and they also hinge this far up and down. He has an ab crunch that bends this far forward and back. There's rotation at the waist, His legs move this far forward and back, and they move this far out to the side. There's rotation at the top of the leg. He has double jointed knees that bend this far. There's rotation at the top of the boot. His ankles hinge this far forward and back, and he has ankle rockers. And, as the legend goes, this is his widest possible stance, still with both feet flat on the floor. Magnifique. So that's the Grey Gargoyle. I'm delighted to get a figure of this guy. He could have a more stone-like sculpt across his body, but he receives enough well thought out attention and unique parts to make that not such a huge issue. He's an underused villain who has fought lots of different superheroes, and he has a terrifying power. So it's great to see him realised so well here, and he looks great alongside other members of the Masters of Evil. Are there any C-list villains you'd like to see get the Marvel Legends treatment? Let me know in the comments below. Please check out other Marvel Legends reviews on my channel, or even see my custom of another C-list Marvel villain, the Psycho Man. Oh, and hit that like or subscribe button for me, would you? Merci beaucoup. Well, wherever you go from here, thank you very much for watching, and remember to pour on the power. Bye-bye.